Straight ahead on CCX News, a rehabilitation game changer in Golden Valley. A newly expanded facility aims to serve more people with spinal cord injuries. Plus, a new option to dispose of unwanted prescription drugs. But first, a tragedy on a Plymouth sidewalk.
It was so tragic, we couldn't go to bed.
CCX News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. Mary Singleton's nightly walk turned tragic Monday when she was struck and killed by a car in Plymouth.
The driver was arrested and could face charges. And we get more from Eric Nelson, who joins us now. Eric?
Yeah, Alex and Mike, Mary Singleton walked the same route night and day with her 92-year-old mom, Frances. But on Monday, that daily routine was disrupted in a horrific way. A vehicle going northbound on County Road 101 veered off the road and ran her over from behind.
The tragedy happened on that road. It's just off. I started crying. I mean, it's hard to believe she is not here anymore.
Mary Singleton lived in the shadow of the Wayzata Free Church and walked by there every morning and night. But on Monday, she never came home.
It's so tragic how she got killed. I mean, it's beyond my imagination.
Singleton was in the exact wrong spot at the exact wrong time.
It was so tragic, we couldn't go to bed.
Run down by a driver in front of the church near a busy thoroughfare, just 2 blocks from her house.
She was a very happy person, and always offering her help and giving us, sharing her things with us.
Singleton is described by neighbors as being kind and generous, someone who gave back.
Whenever she came around, she talked, she asked about the kids.
Singleton leaves behind a husband, a son, and a 2-month-old grandson.
So it's one of those really difficult questions because I think people go, why?
They must find a way to come to grips with a random and senseless loss.
You go through the gamut of emotions, to confusion, to anger, anger at others, anger at the different people involved, anger at God. I think it's a pretty natural thing.
Now, even though the Singletons did not attend the Wayzata Free Church, the church is helping the family with prayers, meals, and counseling. But a very sad story, Alex and Mike.
Thank you. In Osseo, the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office is investigating the death of a child. Authorities were called out Tuesday night for a medical emergency at Spotless and Seamless Exteriors, a family-owned roofing and siding business on Jefferson Highway. First responders began performing medical care when they arrived shortly after 8 p.m. And North Memorial Health paramedics pronounced the child dead at the scene. The child's name has not been released. The Hennepin County Medical Examiner is working on the cause of death.
Drivers in Brooklyn Park have been avoiding a hole that opened in the road after 3 underground water lines broke. Road crews have blocked off a lane of traffic on West Broadway near 82nd Avenue. The hole is about the size of a car. A nearby power pole is being supported by a utility truck. A contractor is working on the problem and should have it repaired on Thursday. Utility officials say the heat on Saturday may have caused the biggest water usage day in 3 years, which can put pressure on weak areas of a water line.
A Hennepin County commissioner says it's too soon to double the county's transit tax until the county has more control over how that money will be spent. An additional 1/4 cent sales tax passed the county board Tuesday to help pay for new light rail lines in the Southwest Metro and along the Bottineau corridor in the Northwest Metro. But a major supporter of the Bottineau line, Commissioner mOpat, voted no, saying taxpayers in the Northwest Metro need to be assured the Bottineau line makes it to the finish line.
We've been paying for light rail lines for more than a decade that we largely don't use. So the Bottineau line is everything for our district. I mean, it is our chance to reap some of the benefits of the taxes we pay. And so I hope we'll be a united front, but I do support it, but it's got to be a have to. It can't be a we'll get to you when we want to. There's been too much of that.
OPAT is concerned that any cost overruns on the Southwest line could come at the Bottineau line's expense. Hotels are expecting to cash in when Super Bowl Sunday comes to town in February, but so are private homeowners hope to rent out their homes to visitors.
And now Golden Valley officials are questioning whether to regulate short-term rental housing.
Golden Valley is perfectly located to be close to Minneapolis, the downtown, not too far from St. Paul either. You know, a suburban area where you have some parks, really convenient for people to kind of retreat from whatever event they're doing, but you're able to get there fairly quickly. So it's a great location for an Airbnb or other kind of short-term rental situation.
On websites such as Airbnb, people can find private homes in Golden Valley available to rent. However, the city has no policy in place to register or license these types of short-term rentals or to ensure that the homeowners are paying the same lodging taxes that hotels pay. The Golden Valley City Council held a workshop this week over whether to regulate short-term rentals or possibly ban them outright.
I think that determined at this point there doesn't seem to be a problem. We haven't had complaints, and the amount of kind of staff time and money that would need to be invested to try to regulate this market at this point, it's probably not worth it.
City officials said they'll continue to monitor whether Minneapolis and St. Paul decide to put in new regulations, and if a city comes up with an easy way to regulate short-term rentals, they will consider the idea.
There's a new way to dispose of unwanted prescription drugs. Walgreens in Brooklyn Park is one of 12 new locations a company is rolling out across Minnesota where you will be able to dispose of unused medications. Hennepin County Sheriff Rich Stanek and Brooklyn Park city leaders were on hand for the announcement. The new kiosks at Walgreens is another way to combat drug abuse. Last year in Hennepin County, 153 people died from an opioid-related overdose.
I don't believe that this epidemic is going away anytime soon. A 39% increase from 2015 to 2016. The preliminary numbers I've seen already here in 2017 in my county alone indicate 10, 12, maybe as much as a 15% increase over last year.
Walgreens is also making the heroin antidote naloxone available without prescription.
In Golden Valley, a big lift for people with disabilities. Courage County Rehabilitation Institute unveiled a newly expanded fitness and wellness center. The new $4.7 million facility is one of the largest adaptive gyms in the country. It's twice the size of its previous facility and was funded entirely by donations. It'll help reduce an 18-month wait list for its exercise program that serves clients with spinal cord injuries, stroke, or other neurological conditions.
We have a second body weight supported treadmill system, which you see behind me. This allows somebody that is paralyzed to wear a harness, and then with the assistance of our trainer and a hydraulic system, we can facilitate walking and standing activities for someone that wouldn't be able to do it on their own.
And a lot of people don't think paralysis can be reversed, and through intensive adaptive exercise that's possible, or to some degree.
The expansion has been 5 years in the making. Courage County believes it will be able to more than double the number of people that it can help. Still ahead on CCX News, trying to overcome storm damage in your garden. We'll get some expert advice.
Plus highlights from local players at the state girls and boys golf tournaments.
But first, plenty of sun and rain-free on Thursday.
This past weekend storm not only damaged roofs and siding, but gardens too.
Reporter Sonia Goins goes in the garden with a Brooklyn Park master gardener to show us how to salvage storm-damaged plants.
We've lived here for 18 years and we've never had a storm this bad in this location.
On Sunday, Larry LaFontaine's yard looked like a winter wonderland, except it's not December.
We had almost probably 9 inches of hail.
Hail and high winds did a lot of damage to Larry's home and yard. Ice pellets poked holes through the siding and plants.
Now these leaves and stems are pretty much gone.
Hostas weren't the only things damaged.
You can see a lot of damage to this hydrangea shrub too.
And there's nothing he could do with this downed tree.
Yeah, this was my biggest loss right here. This was a Cherokee dogwood.
Mother Nature also took aim at his fruits and vegetables.
We had several large, huge plants here, and they were hit by the hail.
But there is some good news. The master gardener says most of the perennials will come back, but you're going to have to give them some TLC. He suggests pruning damaged trees and plants.
It's going to live, but I'm just going to take my pruners and cut it back, cut the dead branches off.
Clean up around mulch and give plants some nutrients.
It's still pretty early in the season, so I might give them some fertilizer just to build up the roots and create a little more growth on top.
He says your garden might not look all that great for the rest of the season, but it should bounce back next spring.
There's no reason to panic, you know, this is damage that will heal itself.
In Brooklyn Park, Sonia Goins, CCX News.
Larry also recommends planting trees in groups instead of a straight line. They're more likely to survive high winds when in a cluster. Still ahead, we go hunting for deals at one of the biggest garage sales in Brooklyn Center.
But first, the Maple Grove baseball team gets set for Thursday's opening round of the state tournament. John Jacobson is in next.
I'm John Jacobson with sports. For the second straight year, the Maple Grove baseball team will represent Section 8 in the Class 4A tournament. The Crimson worked out on their home field this morning in preparation for their state tournament opener Thursday afternoon. Maple Grove is 17-8 on the season and unseeded in the 8-team tourney. They'll face second-seeded Forest Lake in the quarterfinals. We asked the Crimson about the team's journey to get here.
We're getting hot at the right time. You know, we actually, our last game against St. Michael, most hits, most runs we've had all year. Especially in the year we've been struggling hitting the ball, and we got great pitching from Hutch. I'm feeling confident. We know our other guys are going to be able to step up and pitch, so we feel like we're firing on all cylinders and everyone's going to be able to make a contribution.
We're feeling pretty good right now. We just put up the most runs and most hits we had in the game, and against a really good St. Michael team, so I think we're all pretty confident in the way we're playing. We're all hitting the ball, and our pitchers are throwing good games.
Well, I think looking at the records of the teams that are in there, you know, almost all of us have had some losses and experienced some adversity, and yeah, I kind of think there's probably not one dominant team, and it probably is open.
First pitch for Maple Grove and Forest Lake is scheduled for 3 o'clock Thursday at CHS Field in St. Paul. Wayzata and Champlain Park also play their tournament openers on Thursday. The Wayzata boys lacrosse team is into the Final Four in the state tournament after taking a thriller Tuesday. The Trojans facing number 2 seed Eden Prairie after losing twice to the Eagles in the regular season. Wayzata strikes first. Riley Nelson to Christopher Thury for the goal, and the Trojans lead 1-0 after 1. Wayzata moves the ball well. Braden Nelson gets it in close. No stopping this one, and he'll bury it for a 2-0 Trojans lead. And they aren't satisfied with that. Nelson finds Dalton Sees cutting toward the net for the shot and goal. Wayzata leads 3-0. It's 3-1 Trojans at the half. Eden Prairie battles back though in the third quarter. Colin Penn gets a clean look at the net and buries it. The Eagles surge into the lead at 4-3. Wayzata responds. Sees lines it up, whistles a shot home here, and it's 4-4. Defensive lapse cost the Eagles, and Nelson makes them pay. He gives the Trojans a 5-4 lead. They go on to win 6-5. They meet Bedell St. Margaret's in the semifinals Thursday at 3 o'clock at Minnetonka. The Maple Grove girls are back at the state tournament for a second straight year. They faced a tough opponent, though, as they took on second seed Prairie Lake in the quarterfinals. After falling behind 4-1, Emily Herdine leads a Crimson comeback. This goal pulls them to within 4-3. But Prairie Lake gets the last 3 of the first half. Lexi Peer to Lauren Wick for the goal, and it's 7-3 Lakers at halftime. And they dominate the second half. Josie Kropp finds Pierre for the goal, and a 10-3 lead. Prior Lake rolls over Maple Grove 16-6. The Crimson face Cretin-Derham Hall in the consolation bracket Thursday at 11 a.m. at Chanhassen. The state golf tournament is wrapping up late Wednesday afternoon for the girls' teams and players in all three classes. Wayzata's Melanie Lemin teeing off day one at Bunker Hills, one of three Trojans players in the 3A tournament. Her teammate Amy Burnham just misses on that birdie putt. She would tap in for par. She shot a first round 85. Champlin Park's Megan Munichie chipping from the fringe and East number 8 out of Bunker. Nice touch to roll within a few inches of the hole. It sets up a par putt. She's tied for 34th place after the opening day. Hopkins' Melanie Roth in the Bunker on West number 9. She punches out nicely and saves par. She and Julia Hall both qualified from Hopkins. We'll have a recap of the 3A tournament Thursday starting at 4 on CCX News, including highlights and reaction from Wayzata boys state championship winning golf team. They took the title today out at Bunker. The Class A tournament is back in Becker again this year. Highlights from day one of the 36-hole tourney. Kara Smith from Heritage Christian Academy is a two-time defending state champion in Class A. She shot a first-round score of 85, 11 shots off the lead. Is still on the course on day 2 at this taping of CCX. Ian Johnson, also from Heritage, with a nice putt. He shot rounds of 83 and 84 and finished in a tie for 23rd place. Riley Grove, Maranatha Christian Academy, one shot back, and the boys tied for 28th place. That's it for sports. Mike and Alex, back to you.
All right, John, thanks, and we'll be back in a minute. The Brooklyn United Methodist Church mega sale is early this year. Instead of July, the sale begins Wednesday night.
With such a big sale, it is easy to miss some of the best deals. Reporter Shannon Slatton narrows it down in today's Money Savers.
We've had a little setback today with the storm coming through last night.
The tents are back up outside Brooklyn United Methodist Church.
I got a call at 5:30 this morning to let me know that the tents were down.
Strong winds might do their damage.
We're getting ready for tonight.
But here,
we've been putting our tents up and putting our tents down. And
the volunteers are the ones that pack a more powerful punch.
We had some great people come in early this morning and put them back up, so everything is ready to go.
You never know what you'll find at this mega sale that takes up the parking lot, the little white house, and almost the entire inside of the church.
Whatever you are looking for, you can find it here at a very reasonable price.
If you want to get the best bang for your garage sale buck, we've narrowed it down to some items you should look for, starting with holiday wear.
We've moved to Christmas, which is another biggie. We moved that all the way over to the White House now.
You can find name brands like Department 56, Fitz & Floyd, and Lennox at a fraction of what you would pay in a store. You can also get a bargain on tools. Some, like Craftsman, have a lifetime warranty that covers some but not all tools. In housewares, look for Corningware or Pyrex that you can get cheaper at garage sales than even on eBay or in consignment stores. The best vintage sets have color that hasn't been faded by the dishwasher. If you want to buy vintage glassware for value, buy in sets of 4, skip the sets of 3. High-end knives can be purchased for less and resharpened. Sometimes the sharpening is even covered by the manufacturer.
And one of my favorite items to look for at big sales like this are definitely the books. Here you can get recent bestsellers, hardbacks for only $1, paperbacks for less than that. For Money Savers, Shannon Slatton, CCX News.
Some great tips there. The sale begins Wednesday night, continues until Saturday at noon.
There's got to be something there you need.
I'm sure there's, right, a treasure. That does it for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
And we'll see you back here again Thursday, starting at 4.